discussion from the commission? Any from the public? I guess Mr. Albritton would call the roll. Thank you.
Commissioner Aldrich,
Yes.
Commissioner Russell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes, thank you. And so our IT person, Graham Neves, if you haven't met him, he's doing a superb job for the city. He's set up a clock, and if you have something that you'd like to say regarding the selection of city manager, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about who your choice is. It could also be just what your expectations are, what your expectations of the decision are. But feel free to express yourselves. If you would contain those comments to as close to 3 minutes as possible to allow everyone an opportunity, we would appreciate that very much. So I would open the floor at this time if anyone would like to speak. From the public, I'm sorry. It appears that no one wishes to speak at this time. I didn't miss anyone, right? So I will move on to item number 3, which is discussion and possible selection of candidate for city manager position. And I would open that now to the members of the commission.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that this commission set aside our vote today and open up applicants once again. Thank you.
Okay, there has been a motion made on the floor. Is there any discussion or is there a second to that motion? Okay, I don't see a second to that motion. Is there other discussion or other motions?
Yes, Mayor, if I may. I just kind of want to speak about the two candidates. Both candidates, I want to say, are very talented, gifted, strong people. And I see potential, very, very positive potential in both candidates. So I want to put out there that anybody that goes for a position like this, most of us, when we go to a job, we interview in a closed room behind closed doors. Someone that has the backbone to be able to get up and speak, as these two candidates have, in front of the public and be able to defend themselves and say, hey, look, I can do this job. And they're in the public eye. So if, people know whether or not they're doing a good job, but I commend them. And I want you guys to know, Mr. Brotherton and Ms. Gaynor, that I commend both of you. And I thank both of you for coming in and after a hurricane and saying, you know what, I think I can help this community. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? We're to the commission right now. Sorry, Mr. Robitaille.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
I think most of the city knows that I've been a critic of this process from day one. The lack of applicants that we've had, some of the actions of this commission. That being said, I think that we ended up with two of the best candidates we could have gotten. Ms. Gaynor has impressed me lately. She's relieved some of my concerns that I had originally, and Mr. Brotherton, my interview with him and subsequent discussions with the commission that he had with the commission related to me that I think he's fully capable of doing the job as well. This is the hardest decision and the most important decision this commission can make, bar none. I mean, this decision affects all the citizens of Lynn Haven as well as the employees of Lynn Haven. And I can assure you I haven't taken it lightly. I have been back and forth several times since interviews on Tuesday, and have listened to several citizens as well as some of my closer friends that have given me advice on this. And I just want you to know it's weighed really heavy on me the last couple of days. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there other discussion or motions from the commission?
Well, yes. I agree with what Commissioner Russell said a moment ago. This community's been through a lot. It's been through a lot, okay? And there's been people here that have had on-job interview, I guess I should say. And so at this moment, I guess I would make the motion that we allow Ms. Vicki Gaynor to be our or our city manager, excuse me, for the city of Glen Haven. That being said, I do not want to dissuade Mr. Brotherton. I do believe there will be some other positions in which hopefully we can help Miss Vicky out if she gets the votes. And I would like to, when you see talent and you know there's talent there, you hate to let that go. But there are multiple factors that go into this, as Mr. Russell or as Commissioner Russell said, and it has weighed heavily on me. And after much prayer and reflection, I have to make that motion.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
I'd like to second that motion.
There's been a motion and a second for Ms. Vicky Gaynor, the acting city manager, to become the city manager of the city of Glen Haven. Is there further discussion from the board?
Mayor, if I may,
Yes, please.
I think both candidates were excellent in the interview process. I was very impressed with Mr. Brotherton, but as I said in an earlier meeting, and I spoke from my heart, that what I've seen from Miss Vicky Gaynor, she's very deserving to be our next city manager.
Thank you. At this time, is there any comment from the public? Mr. Robitaille?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Robitaille.
I don't know how to say, I'm gonna say it straightforward as I usually do. First, I want to compliment the mayor for having the courage to stand in face of the storm. It was a rain, I understand it. However, you have to understand, I have to appreciate this. I think that this is the most unfair thing I've seen in a long time. First of all, we have one candidate who you all know, who you've all worked with, who have worked in this job before, opposing the last now candidate that's come from the public. Why did he do that? Not for the money, I know that. He did that because he wants to be our city manager. And when a man will stand up and face what he has to face here this morning and say, I'm a better man for the job, I think we should realize that all he had was 30 minutes to convince you. And candidate Gaynor had, what, 6, 7 months? So I don't think you could make that comparison. He's saying what I can do, and she's saying, look what I've done. Do you appreciate that? And I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. But in speaking to Commissioner Kinder's motion for spread it out more, I have to say honestly and from my heart, I don't think it'd be any different. You drag this out and you drag this out and you drag this out. Our mayor was running for a referendum to make her the manager. I mean, this was ridiculous. So if you did it again, what's to say you wouldn't do the same thing? What's to say you would drag it out till all the candidates, with the exception of a gentleman with the courage like this, will come forward? I think you spread your reputation throughout the community and throughout the county. I don't think anyone that's really looking for a job would come again. I think you've already made your decision, and that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Robitaille. Are there others who would like to speak? Mr. Walker?
Good morning. I really didn't want to say anything because I usually get rebuked on what I say. But Mr. Robitaille brings up a very good point. Like the previous election of the city manager, and I know you don't like me going back in history, but you put yourself in a box. And if you don't realize the facts, that a month ago, 3 of you went on record in the commission meetings and in writing of already disagreeing with the system. You wanted it canceled. You didn't like the process. And you at that time said your vote would go to one person. That's a fact. And I'm dealing with a fact. There's the box you put yourself into. Yes, you have a choice of changing your mind. That's true. You had 51 applications. One of them was filed too late. This is a fact. so it was denied. Of the 50 left, you had one left about a week and a half ago. You had one left. This man, who has been through exactly what you've been through numerous times as the executive officer of a military base, hurricanes and everything, he's done it. Miss Vicky has done it also. So they're equal. They're compared. You can honestly say he's been there and done it. Vicky has been there and done it. He's done it well. Nobody's saying Vicky hasn't done it well, but they're equal. You have the decision to make it the way you want it. But I would say again, you already made this decision. This is a stacked deck. Of the 50 that was left, none are left except one. Why? Why? You should question that and look at it there. Again, they're equal. They've both been there, both done it. It's your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. I feel the necessity to respond to both of the previous comments. First of all, back in the summer, several months ago, I was the sole member of this commission who said that I was against the process of even asking for applications. I said that we had a woman here who had been at the table since the day after the storm, of great reputation, who was willing and committed to be part of the city. It was not a reflection of anything on my part other than the person that worked with me day after day after day after day in the face of what happened after the storm. I had a delightful interview with the other candidate. I have the greatest respect for him. He is a proven naval commander. He has served this country, but that has nothing to do with the fact that Ms. Gaynor and I have sat together as she has sat with every employee here. She's been here through everything that has happened with the city. She has the relationships. And I said at the time that the rest of this commission, the majority of this commission, voted to go forward in putting out applications, that I did not see the need for us to go forward. If we were going to have a city manager form of government, which I am totally against, I was not asking to be made the city manager. I asked that we convert our city back to the strong mayor government, which we had back in the 1940s, which went away. That's what I asked for. I did not ask to be the manager of this city. I asked to be able to make decisions on behalf of those people who elected me and not to have my hands tied every time something goes wrong in the city. I either get the wonderful compliments for things that go right, or I get the condemnation for what goes wrong, and I have no power to do either. That was my argument. But as far as this city manager process, there were 50 applicants, and a majority of them were unable to pass the background check. And then the 12 who were selected by this commission to go forward, of those 12, several of those chose to withdraw rather than go through the background process. They did not withdraw because of the fact that they had seen this mayor say publicly that I was standing with the city manager, acting city manager. And if I can take you back one more step, after the storm in March and after we lost the previous city manager, at that point in time, two commissioners who are on this commission now were not here, but those former commissioners, Barnes and Friend, were adamantly opposed for this mayor even having control in the city for 7 days to try and lead the city while we talked about what we should do for city manager. And then they made the decision, and the rest of this commission made the decision and asked that League of Cities direct us as to what to do next. And so I called League of Cities, of which I'm a member, and also the Florida League of Mayors. I was advised that we should go to the next person in our city who knew the most about the city, probably our acting deputy city clerk. So I brought that before this commission, and that's what they agreed to do. I will tell you that when I did that many of the employees were not particularly excited about that. I caught some flack. They were saying, we're not sure we want one of us to be raised to that position. We're not sure it'll work. But I will tell you that until recent days, I have been in this administration office, I've been in the other offices, I've been part of the city as we've struggled and come through everything we've come through. And I would say with great confidence, and any of you are free to stand up, that most of these employees have worked very hard to support Ms. Gaynor, and they have been very happy with what she's done. So to those two comments, nothing, to insinuate that people have not applied because of something this commission has done. There were 50 applicants, and most of them withdrew because of other reasons. So I would just say that, and I'll leave it at that. But if there's anyone else from the public who would like to speak, you're certainly welcome at this time to continue before we take a vote. Mr. Robitaille, certainly.
Yes. Because you chose to shoot my comments down. in
No, I
defense-
just
in-
disagreed
in
with them. I
defense
didn't
of-
shoot them
May I
down.
finish, please?
You certainly may.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
In defense of my comments, you chose to defend your reputation, and I appreciate that, and I think it's well said. However, like I told you, and like I expressed to the citizenry and this commission, when you tried this the first time, I said to you, it was wrong and uncalled for you to be, in my words, a cheerleader for Ms. Gaynor. Sure, you have worked together, but that is the problem, and that's the problem that you're putting. I worked with her for 6 months. She did a hell of a good job, and I'm the mayor, and I advocate her for this. No, that's where we went before. You have to compare them. You gave the man a half hour. She said 6 months. Come on. You might as well not even come here today. That was pretty obvious. She had 6 months to swing your vote. 6 months compared to a half hour. That is not fair, and I don't think that you should be going ahead and being on her side and being her, my words, cheerleader again. Now, the other people have come forward with a speech advocating her. Just you. Thank you.
Thank you for making my point so well for me about the 6 months, Mr. Robitaille. I appreciate that.
Mayor.
Yes,
may I
please go
respond?
ahead.
I just want to, I guess, expand on my thoughts. I think y'all all know I had not made my decision, and if you thought I did, you're incorrect.
Yes, we know that.
When I went into the interview with Ms. Gaynor, she even commented that she was nervous about the interview, and she thought that she did not have my support because she thought that I wanted a fresh set of eyes. And that was my original thought, is that we needed a fresh set of eyes in here, somebody that had not been involved with the city of Lynn Haven. And I want to make sure everybody understands that I think Mr. Brothington is fully capable and qualified to do this job, equally to Ms. Gaynor. That being said, if they are equally qualified, she's already in the position. Why upset the employees by hiring somebody different? You even commented they're equally qualified out of your own mouth. So that's my thinking. I don't think, I've never questioned Ms. Gaynor's integrity. I've never questioned her honesty. I had questions about her ability to do the job, and she related to me and convinced me in the interview that she can do it, and that she has stood up to this commission and individuals in this commission when necessary, which I can tell you, she has stood up to me and told me no. So while I originally thought going into this Tuesday afternoon that Mr. Brothington was my vote, I sincerely believe that I have to do what's best for the employees and the citizens of Lynn Haven. And I have always made those decisions on this dais based on that thought.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Megan?
I believe we had another person speaking.
There's an old saying, if something is not broken, why try to fix it? Now, Ms. Gaynor has served for 6 months, and I've talked to certain people around, and they said that she has done an excellent job. And if people would leave her alone, she would even do better. Now, I don't have anything to do with other applicants. I don't even know who they were, and I don't know who this next person is. But I do know that Ms. Gaynor is capable of doing what she's done this past 6 months and more. I say again, if something is not broken, why try to fix it?
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, sir.
I can't sit back there and hear the negativity that I hear every time we have a commission meeting. I've seen Miss Gaynor in blue jeans and a t-shirt, digging in a ditch, getting muddy and wet. And where were they? Nowhere. I'm done. I'm not asking you anything. I was asking them.
Address the commission, please.
Miss Gaynor has done her damnedest after a storm. She jumped in after the storm of the other city manager. She picked up and she ran and did what she had to do for her city, for her people. Now, I'm not discounting the other gentleman. I don't know him, but I do know Miss Gaynor. And I can tell you what she's done for me, what she's done for the city, and what she's done for the employees. And that is picked us up and got us back going in the direction we needed to go. So any naysayers who are always here naysaying need to get out and do more. Need to get out and talk and see what she's done. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Are there other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. And I would just like to amen or second the motion for the cops and all that have spoken of Miss Gaynor. I do not know the gentleman. I met him, his children, and his wife on Tuesday. All is well. But I can't understand if you have someone that you have worked with, know their integrity, know their behavior, and you can trust on them. What's the problem with that? We're not friends, but you're speaking on behalf of her work, her personality. And we go to church together. She's my Sunday school teacher. And so all we have is what you show. All you have is what you show. Yes, he probably can do it, but it's no if, ands about what she will do and what she can do. And so, again, if you're not in the community helping others and only come when there are meetings, I don't get that. And so we're not so upset because we know God does what is right. And we are here in support of Sister Vicky, not only for the community, for our church, and for everything else. And we have nothing against you all. I love you. She's done the job. My God, she's done that. What more do you want? And so just let's get along and come together. And I just want to say amen to the ones that came before me. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there other comments this morning? I'll allow it, Mr. Walker. I want everyone to leave here feeling as though they've been able to say what they need to say.
I'm not, I never said anything about Mrs. Vicky Gaynor. I never did anything like that. But that man just challenged me. He said, where was I? Okay. I want to say this to this city. Though everybody knows me, they know where I was. My block is the only block that never asked anything from this city. Did not do anything but clean up their own ditches, take down their own trees, supply communications for the block, supply electricity for the water and water for their block. And I have always been in my neighbor's ditches, cleaning them out. When the mayor came through with her cleaning crew, she didn't have to stop at our block. I was there to protect as much as I could. So, sir, I'm sorry. I don't know where you were. I praise you.
If you'd address
for
the
where
commission,
you
Mr.
were.
Walker.
I praise you for where you were, but you weren't with me.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Mr. Robitaille, I'll allow one more comment.
One last one. Thank you. I don't know why we're doing all this here. We've already decided. He made a motion. You made every recommendation possible. Then Mr. Russell, Commissioner Russell changed his vote. So that's 3-2. Let's go home.
Is there any other comment from the public this morning before we go forward? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. You
I
can tilt
just-
it down, ma'am.
I just want to say that I was extremely disappointed in some of the comments that have been made from even the employees about our citizens, who I know, because I was out there helping, were also out there helping. It is not going to do anybody any good to sit here and be negative to our citizens who this commission is here for. And the city manager, whoever you choose that to be, is going to be here representing. So please, employees as well, you work for these citizens. You need to make sure that you are respecting all of them. And if you're going to speak something negative about somebody, you better make damn sure that it's accurate.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there other comments this morning?
May I speak, Commissioner?
Mayor. If I may finish with the
Yes,
public and then I'll
absolutely.
come. Anyone else from the public? It appears that will be all the public commentary. Are there any other comments from the commission at this time before we ask for a vote?
Yes, ma'am. I would just like to add, as a community through what we've been through, any area of life, you can't move forward until there's peace and stability. You can't. It just doesn't work. If there's chaos in your home or your life or whatever, moving forward out of that is difficult without stability or peace. I feel the same way about our community. There has to be some stability, there has to be some peace, and then we can move forward. And this is one of the hurdles that we have to jump. As difficult as it is, we have to make this decision. And we have to do, as Commissioner Russell said, what I believe is best in this moment and this time for this city and these citizens. And I stand by my decision. I went through this process. I agree. I wasn't crazy about the way the process was carried out. I agree with you two gentlemen on that. There were some things thrown out there that to me were not an objective overview of the candidates. So I give you that. And I would much rather see an objective process carried out. That being said, peace, stability, two very good candidates that are very, very capable. So starting over, we're not going to get any better, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else from the commission? At this time, Mr. Albrecht, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mayor. Commissioner Aldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Russell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
A heartfelt no.
Commissioner Perna,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes. The motion from the commission does pass. I would like to congratulate Ms. Vicki Gaynor and thank her for all that she has done. I would also like to thank Commander Greg Brotherton and his beautiful family for coming and being part of this process. And I would also like to thank you for your service to the country and how much we appreciate all that you have done, and your family for their service as well. And we look forward to getting to know you better. At this time, before I adjourn the meeting, I would just like to say that I wish everyone well. And Mr. Albritton?
Yes, Mayor, if I could ask the commission to consider making a motion to designate someone to negotiate terms and compensation with Ms. Gaynor, along with myself,
Okay.
and we'll draft a contract.
I was going there.
I'm sorry, I did not mean that. I
That's
just
really
didn't want you to
okay.
cut it off.
That's
I'm
really
sorry,
okay.
Mayor.
Well, I'll just back up a little bit. Is there a motion to select a member of this commission to go forward in a negotiation process with Ms. Gaynor concerning her salary, compensation, and benefits, and then bring that back to the commission at the next commission meeting for consideration?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that Commissioner Aldridge do that.
I'll second that motion.
There's been a motion and a second that Commissioner Aldridge would go forward with the negotiations with Ms. Gaynor as the next city manager for Lynn Haven. Is there a second?
Oh, I second.
Oh,
that
you did
motion.
second. I'm
Yes, ma'am.
sorry. At this time, is there any discussion from the commission? Any from the public? Mr. Albrecht, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor. Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Russell,
Yes.
Commissioner Perna,
Yes.
Commissioner Aldridge,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes, and so Commissioner Aldridge will take care of those negotiations with Ms. Gaynor and bring those back to us at the next commission meeting. At this time, before I adjourn, I would just like to say how I think that we've crossed another hurdle now, that more stability for the city, we can move forward and hopefully united and see what wonderful things we can accomplish next as we continue the rebuilding process. Thank you. This meeting's adjourned.